From the mind of Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov.
You're listening to the raw sound of my portable rig. I'm just sitting here in my office, and you can hear the natural environmental noise of this room all around me. But in a moment, I'm going to turn on hush and turn this regular room into a recording studio. Now, to understand why I have this porta-rig, you first have to see what I see. There's a crimson blur from the corner of my eye. I blanch as a stop sign whizzes past, and I've blown through another intersection. To my defense, it's been obscured on approach by the thick green overhang, though one could argue, if I had been traveling anywhere near the speed limit, its presence would have been easy to notice. But not today. Houses and apartment buildings flash by. I'm driving like a fucking maniac. The clock is ticking. Fuck. This isn't a situation. It's a situation. My anxious pulse hits another anxious plateau. My anxious exhale chatters past my lips as I try to push the gas pedal through the floorboard. Next block in front of me, storefronts and mini-malls. Ahead, more cars to somehow put behind me. I have 16 minutes to get home. I'm not going to make it. Fuck. I'm only 7 miles away as the crow flies, but the suburban Los Angeles persistent east-west north-south street grid and traffic, even at 11 a.m., make this an upstream swim, especially with the clock bleeding like a blind hemophiliac at a cactus farm. 15 and a half minutes to deadline. This is not how I wanted this day to go. I'm risking my life for voiceover. Time to go Indy 500 on this shit. Flipping the center console shifter left, I switch the car from auto to manual transmission, and this rolling death machine becomes more responsive. I flick this stick to drop it into third gear. The engine redlines, and I can feel the extra torque as I swerve past the slow-moving white Prius, resulting in a dirty look from the old lady behind the wheel. But I make the light. Now to make the next one. Which I don't. And the white Prius pulls up next to me at the next intersection. I've gained nothing with my risky driving. Impatient, my fingers tap the wheel. I look at the clock. Fuck. Growing up in a town like Philly, and driving all along the East Coast where aggressive wheelsmanship is a birthright, has prepared me for this moment. Slaloming between cars, passing in the bike lane. I'm driving like a total asshole, and I know it. So many things could go wrong, and I know it. But the client is waiting. Not just any client. My biggest client. A creative agency for whom I've done hundreds of promo tags for each of the last 3 years. A client for whom, as the voice of this campaign, I just voiced a package of 143 tags over the previous 3 days. National client. And now, they need 3 more on the day of the deadline. 3 more 4-second-long tags that must have fallen through the cracks until this morning. I don't have a phone number to get immediate help. Everything for the last decade has been done through email. In the past, I've had 24 hours to turn these around. No matter if they send a batch of 20, 50, or one time during a previous campaign, 104 tags at a time. Today, they need 3 last tags, and they need it within the hour. Usually not a problem at all, easy peasy lemon squeezy, but not today. I'm not at home. I had to take someone to a doctor's appointment, one of those where you can't drive yourself. 30 minutes across town. Now my job allows me a certain amount of flexibility, I thought. Even to duck out of the booth for a spell, and by some cosmic stroke of, possibly luck. We get to the medical group office only to find out that doctor is running at least an hour behind due to an emergency surgery he had to perform first thing a.m. Fuck. So as I sit down already annoyed at this unavoidable delay, I open my email and find the booking for my client. My eyes pop at the deadline. Due in 1 hour, but sent 25 minutes previous. Panic on my face. I tell my loved one what's going on. They know what it means. Go, they say. Sprinting down the hall, sprinting to the car in the parking garage. Now I'm driving like I just stole the car. A half hour to make a half-hour drive. Get in my house, cut and upload 3 tags. I can do it, I think, as I get behind the wheel. 16 minutes later, I'm not so sure. Trying to avoid a bunch of trucks ahead, I zigzag down a residential side street, hoping to God no kids or dogs run out in front of me. Getting closer, clock is ticking, driving like a banshee. Some guy in a big old Lincoln must have seen me coming. He switches lanes to avoid my approach. That old guy gets it. Thanks, old dude. My head is on a swivel, eyes as big as saucers. My blood pressure and my tachometer near red line. 9 minutes, fuck. At the next red light, I tell Siri to send another email to the client requesting more time. It's futile though, since I know I won't get a response in time. And once the clock runs out, it's a whole process to get it restarted. One that could prevent me from circling back to get the loved one I'd left at the doctor's office. Since I still have to do that, I gotta make it on time. Barely avoiding my third near-miss car accident in 5 blocks. I'm practicing my tags so I can hit the booth ready to go. With 6 minutes on the clock, I'm a mile and a half from home. More traffic lights in front of me. Last major street. I'm pedal to the floor, looking for 50, thinking it would just be my luck to get pulled over for a $200 speeding ticket this close to my driveway. I make the turn down my block, 300 yards to the front door. I play the inconsiderate neighbor, using our quiet street like a drag strip. I blow through the last stop sign. In the driveway, I slam on the brakes just inches from crashing into the garage door. Getting to the booth, I have 2 minutes to go. 3 tags. Taking a quick breath. It still requires 3 quick takes to nail the first one. The second and third come easily. Trying to stay focused, I load them into the project page and hit upload, hoping this isn't one of those times my internet chokes. The percentage meter showing the upload zips to 100, and the deed is done. With 36 seconds left to spare. That is not a typo. 36 seconds. I leap from the booth to empty my screamingly full bladder, and while I stand there pissing out what feels like a small lake's worth, it hits me. I could have fucking killed somebody. I could have been fucking killed. The way I was driving was irresponsible, and about as advisable as juggling hand grenades while wearing a blindfold on a tightrope during an earthquake. One moment gone wrong, and someone could have died. And that thought stuck with me. I've driven super aggressively for decades, but today I felt like I dodged a bullet. And as I drove back to the doctor's office, my hands actually shaking a bit, I realized something so simple. This all could have been avoided if I had brought a portable VO rig in a bag. Could have left it in the trunk, just in case it was needed, and when it was, I could have easily just run down to the parking garage, cut my tags, upload them using my phone as a hotspot, never putting anyone in danger. So that's what I did. That's what you're listening to right now, my portable rig. This AliExpress counterfeit TLM-103, upgraded with a Arienne Audio K87 capsule, going into a Zoom F3, and of course, using Ian Sampson's brilliant software, Hush, to make this into a recording environment. So now the porter rig that I had been avoiding all these years, because I told myself that when I go on vacation, the very short period of time that I'm away from the booth every year, that period is sacrosanct, and I didn't want it spoiled by having to do a voiceover on vacation. So I never picked up a porter rig, but I never thought I might need it, just a few miles from my own house. So yeah, the porter rig. What do you think? Does it sound okay? I kind of dig it. All right. Until next time, this is Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov, fading to black.